Okay, so red, white tokens. Just a pretty honest beatdown deck in the format. We have lots of threats that generate multiple bodies all in one. And cards like you see a Pair of Goblins, while individually the effects on this card are kind of weak, the flexibility is really nice. Being able to either make two threats or make your board that's already wide punch for a lot is good. We have old-time standard staple heroic reinforcements here, which makes your board bigger and makes some hasty power. And then today, for the first time, we're trying out some Zariel Archduke, which can not only anthem our team, but also generate more threats. So it seems like it does a lot of what we're interested in doing here. And then the silent killer last time we played this deck is Shefet Dunes jumped up and allowed us to smack people in spots that we wouldn't otherwise be lethal in a lot of positions. This deck also gets to play for Dead of the Bugbear, which generates additional tokens for us. One card I would like to address, because people always ask, there are no intangible virtues in this deck, and that's intentional. I haven't forgotten that the card exists. I'm just not a fan of cards like Intangible Virtue that only do one thing. I think effects like you see a Pair of Goblins and Heroic Reinforcements and Zariel, which allow us to pump the team when pumping is good, but do other things when pumping isn't good, are better. And while Virtue could definitely win you games that other cards wouldn't, there's too many times you just like draw too many Virtues and don't actually have any tokens, and your deck just doesn't do anything because of that. It is better or worse than the Craterhoof version. So I've played the Craterhoof Transmogrify Polymorph version a few times, and that build with that combo in it is just, it's rancid against control decks. And we played Historic yesterday, and we played 6 control decks in 7 matches. This format is very control heavy. If the format pivoted back towards being more creature-based, I think playing the combo like that is worth exploring with either Craterhoof or Elishnorn. In fact, that's why Elishnorn is on the deck box. We were polymorphing into Elishnorn, but the polymorph plan in general is just rancid against control, and I wouldn't recommend playing it right now. I think the fair aspect of this deck is more than reasonable against control, and it's decent in the aggro mirrors. Let's dive on into some games here with this. Yeah, we played Ponza yesterday, and it was so awful I didn't upload it to YouTube, JMP. It was just a terrible set. Deck is not competitive. I deleted it off the website. We've been doing well, Macy. Played a couple of decent Brawl decks, played an excellent Standard 22 deck, and wrapping up our Magic segment today with some tokens. Yep, sounds reasonable. It's to draw some lands, but has an okay curve. We're going to start on Usher of the Fallen. So we can spend 2 mana on its activation on 2 to kind of fill our curve. Temples of Epiphany. Not quite sure what that means. Any chance you get me to play Ponza in Modern? I would love to play your Modern deck for a $100 donation. I am not doing any Modern other than Kiki Chord and donation decks moving forward. I spent a lot of time trying to find other Modern decks that were enjoyable, and none of them were particularly enjoyable. I'm done spending my own money to get beat up in Modern. Especially when it cost me $10 on top of anything else. Did I ever revisit Dead Gael? I didn't. I'm gonna let you in on a dirty little secret. Playing Dead Gael is just worse than playing Ragavan. All of the Modern metrics basically pitch themselves off a cliff. The support for Modern on the sub survey fell off. The viewer counts fell off in the mornings. The YouTube views fell off. So it wasn't just me that was feeling more than a little spent on Modern. Oh, are they just like a Opus combo deck? There's some Rest in Peace in the sideboard at least. If they have a Mizzix Mastery here, we're probably dead. Alright, no Mizzix Mastery. They're dead next turn, right? We like end step, you see a Pair of Goblins, then untap, charge them.
Meditate and prepare.
some friends. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. People always do that too. They're like, say, whenever I bring up that the modern content's not popular, they start making excuses. Listen, chat, I don't care why you like or don't like watching it. I'm just telling you what the reality is. I'm not trying to convince you to watch Magic Online. I don't blame you for not watching it. I'm just telling you what the reality is of the metrics. Alright, so Rest in Peace and Reidane sound good here. I don't really know what they're doing, right? Are they just like weird Jeskai control? Jeskai controlled like a weird mana base? Could be. Archon's actually probably decent here too, right? Because it stops them from flashing their thing back. What am I gonna trim here? Most of our cards seem pretty reasonable. That's like trim some of these. And then probably one of my threes, huh? Would I rather get rid of History or you see a Pair of Goblins? I'd rather get rid of the Goblins. History makes thicker tokens, even if this has some flexibility to charge like we did there at the end. I still have these. Nah, History's a card that gets better when you draw it in multiples, so this is a 4 or 0 for sure. It's fine. We've got the creature lands here and the Shefet Dunes. Usher is a 1-drop and a 2-drop, and this is a 3-drop. This card being able to fill the first 2 turns of your curve in an aggro deck is so decent. Even if this isn't an impressive turn 2, the fact that it like comes out of your 1-drop is great.
My brow is designed with thoughtfulness before action.
This person's username is my dream since I've had kids. 7 o'clock bedtime. As a parent, checks out. Do I need to kill their Narset, or would I rather deal a damage to them? Do I have anything that draws cards proper? They might be a commit to memory deck, so I should probably kill this.
I won't forget our time together.
Archon here means they have to have exactly basic planes to cast Wrath of God this turn. Which means if they're unable to do that, I'll be able to Legion's Landing and flip it next turn, hopefully. Ratchet Bomb. Listen, chat, sometimes they have your number. I've not played a 4th land yet, so... Oh, I can only play 1 spell per turn, though, because this is symmetrical, right? What, heat cards aren't good? Yeah, okay. I'll activate that and play a tapped land. My number's unlisted for a reason. God, the unholy amount of spam phone calls and text messages I get is just unreal. You can't. It's far more than not. It's a good beat, Danon. Shame they thought so small and only made $1 million. Are we getting rid of my Legion's Landing? That's kind of funny. Is that lethal? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So not quite lethal. So I think because it's not lethal, we just fire up the Den of the Bugbear. creature land, letting us hit them for extra without extending into a sweeper. These games really kind of showing why I think this deck is a good choice while control decks are everywhere. Your threats are just so good at being sticky. Don't tell Scotty, chat. Scotty doesn't know. Okay, so we're gonna watch the card go back and forth here for a second a little bit, and then they're gonna concede. Oh no, it was faster than I was expecting. All right, we take those. So, for reference, the templating on Mizzix's Mastery says you cast a copy of the spell, which is why I brought in Archon in this matchup, because I knew that was how the templating works. So they can cast Mizzix's Mastery, but then they can't cast the copy because of Archon. How can you get straight to historic / brawl cards, only wild cards? This is correct. If a card is not contained in a booster pack, you need to use a wild card. To be fair, Marty, if they hadn't cast out the Legion's Landing and they had instead cast out the Archon, I would have flipped the Legion's Landing and cast Chandra the turn I did the Den of the Bugbear and started putting emblems on them. So I think we were ahead either way. You can buy non-standard legal boosters, that's true. Nah, I had Chandra in hand, look, no numbers. I think we're fine there. I don't think there's a reason to extend into a sweeper. Yeah, right? We'll keep this. We'll bottom the Legion's Landing and we go 1, 2, 3, 4 if we hit a red source. I like it. There could be an argument to bottoming Chandra, keeping the first 4, but so playing the Den of the Bugbear gives them information about what we drew for the turn, but I think it's still correct. If this is auras, that's probably hard for us. We have a good chunk of removal on the board, but in general, I think their linear game plan is better than ours. Yeah, it looks like auras. Don't play the one that makes a 1/1. Don't do it. Y'all, that one's fine. I didn't want them to make a 1/1 because I want to be able to play Chandra and kill this and not have to worry about a token killing my Chandra next turn.
Over here. It's playtime.
It's playtime. Beep, 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 beep. Thanks for the follow, Viper the Sniper. Good morning. The black-white version better than the blue-white, so they do different things. I don't think it's strictly better, strictly worse. The black-white version is my personal preference because it plays more like a mid-range interactive deck, whereas the blue-white version is a linear aggro deck only. We just pass. We did 2 brawl decks to start today, Beard Hug. So we do Magic from about 8 a.m. till about 1 p.m. So we're just starting this deck now, so this will be our last Magic deck of the day. I'm trying to hit every one of the arena constructed formats every day between now and when the Historic Horizons releases. Yeah, I think we're just done at this point. Yeah, they're both somewhat reasonable. They'll be up on YouTube for sure. So this is a matchup where we want all of our removal spells, but like I said, I think we're just a little bit behind on average a lot of the time. This is a matchup where we got to get a little bit lucky to win mostly. They have plenty of blockers. So I'm going to trim these. We'll trim this because it's not particularly aggressive. It's more sustaining power. I'm trimming my 4-mana spells. If I get greedy and cut a land. Let me be greedy and cut a land. This curve ends at 4 now. We have Legion's Landing. There's a bug in Pokemon Unite preventing me from getting my white crew sock. Man, brutal. I need my socks, man. I need them real bad. Okay, quick Legion's Landing flip this game. Yeah, the original build of this deck had Transmogrify in it. And it really just wasn't good enough. Sag, we're gonna flip that. Archon's just slow and bad. I don't know. I guess, like, I think you just want to kill them as opposed to, like, trying to do this. Like, I don't know. I think the matchup's basically unwinnable, so maybe I should just concede it and move on. There are things also get out of range of our red removal, too. Like, no matter how you slice it, we end up kind of fucked.
You and I are gonna take up. This'll be easy.
Hit, like, heroic reinforcements next turn. Maybe we could punk them. And it was, like, moderately aggressive. Needed to make a little bit better draws in between their discard spells. Alright. Never beating Life Gain in a million years. Back it up. Pack it in. Let me begin. Our deck's very reasonable against things like Gruul and Black Aggro, because you can race those appropriately, but the Aura's deck's gaining. Yeah, the Aura's deck is incredibly polarizing. It doesn't really have 50% matchups. It has matchups it dunks and matchups it gets dunked on by. No 2-mana play as it feels bad, man, but I think we're supposed to keep this. I'm going to lead on the Shefet Dunes, because if I draw a white source on 2, I want this to be a red source. So we get to wait to make what decision I'm doing here. Hey, nice, Moldy. Thanks for doing your part to help us end all this insanity. Come on, be red-black, don't be auras again. Sick. Deal, we take those. Actually don't know how this matchup plays out. I'd be pretty happy to trade these. And they agree that that trade would be good for me. Yep. And then get our sideboard slots worth out of our copies of Rest in Peace here this afternoon. Our hand is definitely better than 2 random cards, I think, so unfortunately Bowman's gotta die. Untap play would be nice. Definitely attacking to get this flipped over. Opponent has untapped red. The Crocs is probably going to put us in the ground here. Yeah. So get to our post-board games here. We become a little bit more interactive. So Rest in Peace obviously is a great hoser. Chandra is nice for the grind. I think Helix and Rip Apart come in to kill their stuff. Beaumont Courier is kind of mediocre because not only do they have removal, but they also have plenty of blockers. This is mostly for the creatureless matchups where you know it's going to get in a bunch. We probably just trim like you see a Pair of Goblins and these. Honestly, it could be right to just go more like red white big control. Like put in a copy of Chandra here as well. Put in Deccan Stones also. Let's try this. Playing more card advantage cards and more removal. As nice as it would be to have Rest in Peace in the opener, can't keep that first one. Let's draw some lands, huh? There's so many empty snack boxes in my office. Which one has snack? That one does not. Or 5. Need to get cleaned up. There are 5 snack boxes on the floor and only one had stuff in it. No discard spell on one-time dealer. Real shame we don't have second red. If we did, Chandra would have been a perfect draw to kill this Arcanist. Speaking of perfect plays, yikes. Hey, thanks to whoever did the Marvel promo there. Appreciate the support. Inching closer to that 175 goal. Christy asked me if I was streaming on Saturday, and I told her I had faith in Oglandia. So we'll see if she's right or if I'm right. Yeah, our mana base, unfortunately, here. Just killing us pretty dead. They're missing second red. Could be our saving grace. Really surprised they attacked there if they weren't fatal pushing. What if you think I deserve a day off with the kids? That's what Sunday's for. Yeah, Magus, that's a few people have said they tried it before already. That's one of the more popular games I've done a promo for sure. All right, Den of the Bugbear's active. Okay. Okay. Well, I can't. Are we gonna win this game? I can't believe we're gonna win this game. The mulligan to 6 followed by the Thoughtseize. I did not think we were gonna sneak this out. Yeah, wow. Sweet. God bless utility lands, huh? So good in these fair matchups. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Let's split Zariel and Awakened Inferno 2-2 on the draw. It's actually, like, really unfortunate we keep having our sideboard card in our opening hand, because we want this, like, 2 or 3 cards down in our deck so we can top deck it and slam it, not have it exposed to Thoughtseize for 2 turns. Matt Trick, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel today. And thanks to whoever just completed the Marvel promo. Appreciate you. Whoa, Chad, is their deck broken? Maybe they should file for compensation. Alright, do they have the destroy target enchantment? Feed the swarm or whatever it's called? So, the short answer is I've been loving Unite's gameplay a ton. My wife and I have been playing it a bunch off-stream, in addition to the on-stream stuff I've been doing. And, my thoughts on the monetization system is, as someone who grew up used to Magic the Gathering, I really don't think it's that unreasonable. Here's a link here in chat, though, to about a 20-minute video where I break down the economy and talk through why I think it's fairly reasonable. Do you want a little bit more detailed explanation? Yeah, definitely. If you have any thoughts after watching it, feel free to pipe up in chat. We're going to be here for a little while, and we'll be playing Unite at the end today. Alright. Man, they are getting in, huh? Am I dead? Not quite. Close. Alright, so you need untapped land. So I'm just making an Adanto token this turn, right? That's unfortunate. I guess I have to choose between Torch of Defiance and Awakened Inferno here. If they have an instant speed piece of removal, we die here. Which they could have. One basic land, please. One Shefet Dunes, please. Oh no! Oh no! world's most honest shock, or Croxa. Yikes. Close game. The best weak game of Magic, for sure. They don't really have good attacks, right? I'm gonna have to put this red-white tokens deck up on the website. It just generates, like, good games of Magic. I just do this and shove, right? It forces them to block. About an hour from now, Volpert. We're gonna play Historic for a little bit more. I guess this attack is bad because it leaves me dead to a removal spell. They block a 3/3, and then I die if they find a piece of spot removal. It could honestly be right for me to, like, just use First Fort this turn, and then Heroic Reinforcements after I use the First Fort. Because that would get my life total higher. Yeah, I think I took an unnecessary risk here. Yeah, we're getting punished for it. Yeah, really, really close, interesting game that I flubbed the very end of here. If I would have just made a First Fort token there, outside of Croxa coming off the top, I don't think we could lose. Yeah. Yeah, opponent played that well. They took an aggressive slant really well when they needed to. And then I got too aggressive when I shouldn't have. And making a token would have put me out of range of them being able to Croxa me, which would have been key too, so I'd have only had to fade it for one turn. Yeah, the Knights would have been bigger enough to not trade with Dolores, is accurate too. And that, again, is just like why I love games of Magic that center around the combat system, because whenever there's a lot of attacking and blocking involved in a game of Magic, I tend to feel like there's things I can learn from it, and things I can improve and do better. Whereas, like, constantly running spells into Doomblades and counter spells, usually it just feels like you're banging your head against the wall and nothing matters. Alright, second red means we can Zariel on curve. Haven't cast this one yet, but looking pretty decent on this board.
Fight for Avernus, you fiend.
The reading Zariel pause. Zariel plus Heroic Reinforcements means I can attack through this 2/3 with my 1/1s next turn, which is sweet. Oh. Huh. Are they dead? Yeah, they're dead, right? Beep, beep. Alright, game 2, let's go. Okay, yeah, sick. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, 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 zoom. I think they're playing black aggro here. Like, I know their draw was really controlling here, but I think they're on, like, the Spawn of Mayhem and Friends decks. I think I want the Chandra and the Deck in Stones. I know that I want the 3 damage removal. Zariel's probably a touch worse on the draw. Trim that. Just very minimal changes. We're mostly racing in these matchups. The old Zariel twice the emblem stack. I believe so. Hey, thanks to whoever checked out the Marvel promo. Appreciate you taking a couple minutes out of your day to support my content with that. Keep. Old bottom, Usher. We can go landing into raise, flip the landing. Would you like to fatal push my lifelinker? You would. Deal. Deal, Loreno. They could be something more controlling, too. My estimate of what they were playing was definitely based on just, like, what's been popular in the format. Could be playing a brew. This is definitely a make tokens with goblins game. So we get to end step make tokens, untap heroic reinforcements. Yeah, they are the aggro deck. This must have another... I feel like my opponent should have... Like, game one, I think their keep was fine, but in this game, they definitely should have mulliganed more aggressively. They couldn't know what I was playing in game one, but they definitely need to try and race us here, not be interactive. We're just so good at going wide like this. Charge. Charge's been such a sweet power level upgrade for this deck. And even if they have a fatal push here, they're still dead to their Spawn of Mayhem trigger. Good stuff. Good stuff. This deck's probably a pretty decent choice for laddering, too. It's got a decent control matchup, and it's capable of winning games quickly. Although, thankfully, we haven't queued into a ton of control today. Goblins, you want to charge a pair of goblins with only +1 attack? Nah, I gotta get +2 attack. Crush, crush, crush. Ah, always rewarded for mulliganing a close 7. Matchup variance felt bad for giving all the control decks yesterday. Good. It should feel bad. This card is low-key great as well. This really does some heavy lifting in games like this. Thalia's actually really good against us. Her first strike blocks our tiny dorks well. Back in there on that mulligan. Alright, so they block Beaumont really well. Zariel's kind of expensive. Chandra's expensive, but is good removal. I like Helix. I like Deckenstone, because you're probably a Lovestruck Beast deck. On the draw, I might try and become a little bit more controlling and go bigger, but I think on the play, I want to try and apply pressure here. And keep all my 2 mana token makers. think I got a mulligan that. It was only 2 lands and it didn't have a curve. Alright. Alright. Landing into raise into turn 3 Chandra. Theoretically, he says before his opponent plays a turn 2 Thalia again. Just any non-Thalia 2-drop here, please. Yeah, that's even better.
Today's my lucky day.
Burn, baby, burn. Chandra Inferno. Do, 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 do. I'm gonna attack first, because if they block, Chandra kills the Lovestruck Beast, so they won't block.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Going nice and wide here. We have Shefet Dunes there, looking at our mana base, ready to push some damage next turn. Befriend some goblins here in a minute.
If you play with fire, you're gonna get burned.
Track you to 3. Alright, and then I think on the draw this game, I want to go bigger and have more interaction. So I think it's going to be harder to get under them like we did that game when we're on the draw. So I might just cut these. Put 1 Zariel back in, because it makes constant blockers every turn. Let's try this. I don't know if we can go toe-to-toe in a long game with this deck, but let's find out. That's so bad for us. Why is Land War Elves so busted shit? These green decks are going to be a whole different ballgame when they get Elvish Mystic. I'm really surprised they haven't just put Elvish Mystic into this format yet. It's supposed to be coming eventually. This effect feels a lot less high variance when they have 8 of them. Decks get a great deal of consistency, getting to play more copies, obviously. So really want to draw untapped white source here so we can play History of Benalia. If we don't have a play this turn, we probably just fall too far behind. Okay. So this not only lets us get history going, but it means next turn we can go tap land, you see a pair of goblins for some jump blockers. Okay, that's a decent pick for next turn. So I get to, you see a pair of goblins for some things, and then we can heroic reinforcements to pump up the GM. And these knights are going to be 4/3s next turn, so they'll be 5/4s. Am I chump blocking with a goblin? Probably. I think we're cashing this in for a gain 5. Gotta do this in response, otherwise we can't do it anymore. Thalia's so good against us. Normally Thalia's not good in these aggro mirrors, but against our deck specifically she is, obviously. Yeah, I'm gonna gain 5 now. Alright, I mean, there were worse non-land draws in our deck. If they attack with the Thalia, am I trading a Knight token for it? Probably. Unlocks our hand. It is a magic-themed Run the Jewel shirt. So, Coalescence Apparel, one of the stream sponsors, there's a lot of different magic-themed things based on pop culture and other magic references. Let's mix with it, which is great. And a lot of fantastic designs. You can check them out. Use code Hoaglandia for 10% off. It's a great way to support my stuff. Alright, so you see a pair of goblins into heroic reinforcements next turn, so... And my History of Benalia is getting ready to pop off. The problem is we are dead in the air. I don't know that we can force enough blocks here to make them chump block with Lumiarch, but gotta try. I haven't done the math. This is the play. Close game considering how much Thalia and Archon put us off tempo. I guess it was mostly Thalia that put us off tempo. So follow me, man. Yeah, not quite enough here, huh? Gonna come up 2 points short. Really close set. And this was the game where they had Land War Elves on the play, right? And they're just hitting us for Exaxes here. If either of these had been lands, and we'd have been able to play slightly ahead of curve. Or honestly, actually, the Shefet Dunes domed us for 2 that game, right? We had to cast History of Benalia off that twice. If that had been anything but. Presume castles are too slow. It's like, not only are they slow, but they're frequently tapped. If you look at our mana base, we don't have that many actual planes. Shefet hurts us, but it's an untapped land. Nah, that's not true, Acario. They would have had to be exactly basic lands because they had the what's it called in play. The Den of the Bugbears have been excellent. Would Blood Moon break historic, or it'd be a fine addition? I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to think about what you said. The Beaumont Couriers have been super underwhelming. I think I might cut them. Might cut these for, like, put the 4th Chandra, Torch of Defiance back in the main, and, like, play a 25th land, maybe. Definitely lost a lot more games today to being mana light than to being mana flooded, which is typically the case. He did. They're probably a better go-wide deck than us. I'm gonna cut some of our top end and bring in some cheap spot removal here. On the draw, maybe we'll bring in Big Chandra. I'm gonna try and race here with a little bit of spot removal. Sure. Pick up. Yes. Blood Moon makes non-basics lose their abilities and they stop making mana other than red. Activate him a trap card opponent. Blood Moon. If you've never played with or against Blood Moon, it's a miserable experience. It's one of the highest variance cards Magic the Gathering has to offer. Hey, thanks Trevor just completed the Marvel promo. Appreciate you taking some time to support my content with that. Does the deck play enough spells to make Young Pyromancer viable? No. That's why I'm not playing it. We just beep here. Wreck Sage against the 1 enchantment in our deck is a pretty good beat. I guess maybe they were expecting Intangible Virtue. However annoying you think Blood Moon is, it's more than that. Yes, could not agree more. Alright, hopefully their collecting company's not very good and the Shefet Dunes gets them low enough for Helix to kill them. We do have that one. Forgot about that one. Yeah, that's gonna be good enough, unfortunately. Unless we draw, like, second Helix, and I only have 2 Helixes in my 75. Yep. The Elves deck is just... The Elves deck is a better go-wide deck than us that has less recovery against sweepers. So it seems like it's favored against us in this heads-up match, but their deck's much worse against the control decks in the format. Let's cut these Beaumont Couriers, get an extra land in here. Slide the 4th Chandra into the main deck, probably add a removal spell to the board. What removal spell do I want? I know that I need Rip Apart's effect hitting. There are a lot of enchantments and artifacts that I care about. Just want a 3rd Helix because it's reach. What land do I want? I have 16 white and 16 red. I have more double red cards than double white cards, but these also cost more mana. This flips into white mana, though. Let's try a red castle as the 25th land. It's very Shefet Dunes adjacent. even if it is going to be tapped on us on occasion. Okay, nice. Thanks for the follow, Sonic Death Monkey. Permanent Burns could be okay. The problem with it at its core is that drawing too many deserts means you die. The deserts are a real liability in the aggressive matchups. I mean, I think I'd rather they have Clothis in this instance than have a card that actually plays to the board. Like, this is buffering their life total up, but it doesn't block me, right? JFC, thanks for the follow. 2 creatures in bins, so we can Chandra this. Main deck Clothis is super common in Gruul. I'm pretty sure the one on my slate, for example, has 2. It's just a good magic card, especially with all the control decks running around. I'm not going to offer the 2-2 for their 2-2 because my History of Benalia is going to pop next turn and make these 4-3s. Opponent missing actual factual red mana so far, so then using the Burning Tree Emissaries is filtering, which is kind of funny. We just trade these off.
You're going down.
Hey, awesome, Mouse. Hope you have fun. Like I said in my video, the core gameplay in Unite I think is a ton of fun. They really nailed a lot of aspects of it. Honestly, I might just do 2 to them here and then like play another Chandra and kill their wolf, so we can attack in. I can also, like, deal 2, attack with everything, and then, like, if they block... Yeah, let's just do this, actually. Let's say decline, hit you with that. I'm gonna attack with these. And then if they block my 1-1, well, you see a pair of goblins, and trade up. Charge! So, trade up on my token, plus hit you for an extra 4. Sounds great. We do have some difficulty racing this,
Oh, today's my lucky day.
racing this Clothis. Lifelink tokens certainly help. Going to 10. I must just have a bunch of red cards and think they're going to get buried. I don't know that the opponent was fully out of that game. Both those closest do a lot of work for them. Alright, so Deccan Stones and Urban Parts and Helix definitely want to come in here. I think I want to trim on some of my top end so I can pull the curve down a scotch. So Zariel's going to come down. I think Chandra and Heroic Reinforcements are hopefully the better 4s. Do I want to trim some of my 1s or my 2s? I think I'd rather trim the 2s. Give this a go. I don't think I want these other cards up here. The graveyards are getting empty. Yeah, it's a good observation. Well, I mean, by the time you get Archon down, their cheap creatures are already going to be in play, and Ranger class generating card advantage off the top isn't the reason they're playing it here. If the game gets to that point, it's probably over. Double Deccan Stone without a lot of pressure is kind of mediocre. I have all my colors of mana, though, and I have guaranteed 4 lands. I'm kind of inclined to keep. I think that this matchup's probably pretty play-draw dependent if I had to venture a guess, so... Having a 1-drop's one of our better ways to potentially break serve. These are potentially threats if the game goes long enough, thanks to our Deccan Stones. Alright, put like 4 Burning Tree Emissaries into play so we can deck the halls. Only 1 Burning Tree Emissary, never lucky. Should have waited. It's a decent pull, so we get to go landing into Raise the Alarm now. And then flip the landing. And we could go tapped land Deccan Stone next turn, untapped land, fire up the Den of the Bugbear. One of the things people often ask me is like, Jeff, what's your tip for getting better at Magic? And while there's a lot of them, one of the things you see me do, like on this turn sequence here, is while obviously I'm going to have to potentially adjust my plan, depending on what I draw and what they do, thinking through the permutations of how these turns could play out for you is one of the best ways to get better at Magic. It's also one of the ways to get quicker too, right? Like what I just talked through there, what my sequencing is likely to look like, I did that while my opponent was taking game actions, which meant I'm then able to play faster once it comes to my turn to taking game actions. We're gonna go ahead and just get rid of the wolf because I don't get a clue token for this. And then we'll flip the landing over like we said. We are unfortunately out of spells at this point. Yeah, and they've just got all these 2/2s. Yikes. Even if we peel heroic reinforcements from here, we're probably too far behind. Especially with them killing one of our tokens there. Do I want to be more aggressive on the play? Probably. Put down at least one piece of removal, board back into token maker. You know, it's been a while since I've given someone a history lesson. Wow. Wow, chat. What a hateful card. What a hateful Magic the Gathering card. Who hurt you, opponent? Like, who, like... This isn't even really good against Jeskai, right? Like, I guess it dodges Lightning Helix? Now that's a good pull. Yeah, maybe it's good against Green-White Company? I hurt them? Yeah, potentially. Okay, so... I have to do this now, right? Toxic. This isn't a deck that you need to see more cards or refuel. You know what the best source of card advantage in the game is? Killing your opponent while they have cards in their hand still. Am I dead to Den of the Bugbear? I'm not, right? I'm dead to Stomp. I'm dead to Embercleave. We're not dead on board. We're not dead on board. We're dead to a variety of cards that could come out of their hand, but we are not currently dead on board. They're dead on board. What a close game. Just the razor thinnest of margins. Alright, so if they had Stomp, I was dead regardless. If they have Cleave, they can't Cleave now. So I should only chump block this because there's not going to be another turn, right? And if I double block, I lose to them having another blocker because I'll only have 4 creatures and I'll have 4 blockers. So we're just supposed to chump here, go to 2, and hope to kill them on the backswing. Lightning Strike killed us. Sweet. Yeah, so we lost if we double blocked there. JKLOL. But like, yeah, so there's no reason to play around any removal spells there, because removal spells were gonna kill us regardless. Like if they had any sort of burn, they would have just attacked with their pro-white and their 4/4 and then hit our face. So like we can know that they don't have that. So we could think through, okay, well they could have a blocker and I beat a blocker by just chump blocking. And that's again, like, think through the permutations of, like, okay, what do we know they have here? What do we know they don't have here based on the line that they're taking? And then what could they have, and can we play around it? And we could, and we did. So, little bit of fortunateness on our part, being able to, them not having, you know, the cleave or the burn spell at the end there. But also, you know, they were fortunate and drew their 2 pro-white cards against my deck full of white tokens, so... Yes, yet again, a great example of Magic having excellent gameplay when it comes to attacking and blocking. I really don't... I can't fathom who has the hard-on at WotC for decks like Jeskai being good. Like, I just, like, I don't know anybody... Like, I know people that like playing those decks, but even most of those people will admit that, like, the gameplay's not good when they're the best decks in the format. Hey, Dr. Phil, thanks for the brand new Prime. There's a ton of great people who can ship those Bezo bucks every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending them this way this month. Was I dead if they attacked with the pro-white? No, because if they attack with the pro-white creature, then I double block their 4/4 and they're still dead to my attackers the following turn. I would have gone to 1 and then I would have killed them on the backswing still. Think I have to mulligan this. Just got too many expensive cards with no guaranteed third land. This is also a tapped land, which is a little bit awkward to knock against it. Someone asked why we weren't playing castles. I added 1 castle as the 25th land, and that hand there really kind of showing why it's clunky. 1, 2, 3, 4, curving right on out the door. Hey, well, I appreciate it, Phil. Good to see you in chat. You should make sure to pop in the Discord server, too, later once it syncs up. It's a part of Hoaglandia that's always on. Myself and lots of other great folks in there to chat with. Goblins! Our hand's kind of aggressive, so we might be okay here, but I'd wager this matchup's hard. These other creature decks that do a lot of blockers are a little bit tougher for us. We need some of our better starts to punch through them. We don't just beat a fast Muxus, for example. Come on, attack me for 4. Rats. Rats! They didn't take the bait yet. Curse you, opponent, and your dedication to good play. I need you to be sloppy and make mistakes. Hopefully we just, like, draw another heroic reinforcements or, like, a Zariel, and we get to just push damage here. For fuck's sake. Alright, fam, we dead. Good shit. Our curve is pretty close to perfect. They have turn 5 Muxus, though, so it probably doesn't matter. Maybe their Muxus will brick, he said to himself, optimistically. Oh, you know what? We just ranked up. I'm just gonna concede this match. I don't feel like playing against goblins. We're at the rank down protection. Nah, you have it for free. I'm gonna play against someone else. Yeah, look at that. And nothing of value was lost. And that's kind of how these formats go. Like, we're dead to things like goblins and elves. But goblins and elves aren't super popular, and when you run into them, you just gotta take your licks if you want to play something like this. I think our deck is really decent into things like Niv and Jeskai Control, and you have about a coin flip against things like Gruul, the kind of go taller aggressive decks. You're decent against things like Black Aggro, like we showed earlier. So, there's always, especially when you're playing a B-list deck like this in Historic, there's always going to be some amount of matchups that you just lose at deck registration. You have to be okay with that. Constructed format, if you've been enjoying the most lately, it's It's kind of a toss-up. Everything going on right now has ups and downs in it. I think Standard 22's probably closest to my favorite, but they don't let us play best of 3 Standard 22, which dampers it a bit for me. Against turn 1 Steam Vents, I am going to raise the alarm, because if they are a Memory Lapse deck, I want to get in underneath that. And then I'm not playing History here because, again, they're a Memory Lapse deck. Wow! They chose to not Helix a token, and they could have denied me the first fort flip. It's bold. Alright, wrath me, daddy. Come on, red source. Come on, red source. Poppy.
Let your fury instill fear. Commotion.
Man, does Zariel look impressive here, huh? Nice Jeskai control deck. Man, that's gas. Just every token has haste. Yeah, they're dead, right? It's like swept me twice, it doesn't matter. Yeah, good night. Just stuff them deep down in the box. Man, that was sick. Do we just think this thing clicks a bit? Do I need these Chandras in my sideboard? I don't actually know that we do. I guess I kind of want Reidane. I maybe want Archon. No, this is a D&D set card. The arena only cards, their release got pushed back, Captain. So they're not happening until next week. Yeah, she does seem slow. I'm gonna cut the 25th land on the draw, and I'm gonna put in 2 Reidanes. We'll trim one of these. What does it mean to stuff them in a box? Well, when you die, they put you in a box and they put you in the ground. Cleric class. I mean, their instant speed stuff, generally speaking, isn't what we care about in this matchup. We really care about, like, their sweeper effect. So, like, cleric class doesn't, or paladin class or whatever. Sorry, paladin, not cleric. Paladin doesn't really stop that, right? Like, I knew which one you were talking about. I knew you meant paladin class. I knew what you meant, and the answer is still, I don't think so. But, Jeff, you wouldn't have gotten memory lapsed here if you would have had paladin class, Jeff. We would have, they would have just shocked in their Hallowed Fountain. This water bottle is not strong enough for the memory lapse I'm currently experiencing. This opponent was just like, they won't let me play more than 4 memory laps. So they woke up this morning and were like, yeah, unsubstantiate. Let's do it. Let's do it. He's dead, Jim. You got him. So, History of Benalia is better than my average draw, so I'm going to make mana rather than dealing 2 damage and clearing it off the top of my deck.
This'll be easy.
How many Torrential Gearhulks you think are in their hand? Because they missed a land drop.
Oh, today's my lucky day.
They missed a land drop and they had spells in hand. I feel like they have to have Gearhulk, right? Turns out our average draw is history. I mean, you're not wrong. This is a part where they Gearhulk and tuck my Chandra. She's been committed. Heroic reinforcements, please. There's a good chance they have a second Gearhulk. Huh. Okay. Feels weird. I guess they wanted to protect their life total. Yeah, I feel I have like mixed feelings about that Day of Judgment. Like, it's like, is this good for me? I'm not sure if it was good for me, but I'm also not sure that it was bad. Holy dicks, they just discarded a Teferi and a memory lapse. Chat, what is their last card? I am terrified. What is their last card? Is it just another Teferi? It's gotta be another Teferi, right? Okay. No, because they knew about the Chandra, right? So, like, has to be another Teferi? Okay. That could have gone worse, maybe. Or maybe it couldn't have gone worse.
Yup, you're going down.
Ah! Alright, sorry. 2, 3. Yep, that's all 4 of them. Good shit. I'm
getting too old for this. You know what? I'm not.
Yes, but how many more unsubstantiates are they running? So they only cast 3. They looted the 4th lapse away at least. They saw all 4 this game though. They are through 22 cards. Make mana, try and Zariel. They hit a second Gearhulk. They're pausing like they have a lot of choices. Feels like they could have hit a second Gearhulk.
A whisper of mine will spill.
Well, they don't have mana for Opus. They only have 7 mana. I'm gonna be a little conservative here. And ship 3 into the Teferi. Yeah, that's now the Teferi lives. Yeah, I should have just put all of them into the Teferi, right? Because I would have killed him. Concede. I made a mistake there. I should have put all of them into the Teferi. It doesn't matter that they can't tuck. The Gear Hulk gets to attack my Chandra, so she doesn't emblem. That's why, generally speaking, if they untap with their Teferi twice, you should probably concede, because the game is over. We are on the play this game. That's accurate. An okay curve. No 1-drop, so not ideal, but could definitely be worse. The Helix inside of combat. Well, Benalia. I'm going to choose not to play into anything here, so they can do that. And I'll just go ahead and do this while they're tapped out. Actually, maybe I should do this on their turn to give them the option to counter, because if they counter this, then I could stick history. Yeah, that's probably what I should have done. And now next turn's the Wrath of God turn, so I like getting history down, so that way if they Wrath, we get another token next turn, and then we can heroic reinforcements. The real mistake is not surrendering to Hollowed Fountain. I think part of the reason to play this deck that we're playing is it's an aggressively slanted deck that has a chance in this matchup. I think there are plenty of decks in this format that you can just punt these matchups and concede to them. And if you don't like playing against Jeskai control, I don't blame you, but this deck's not a good choice. Part of the reason to play this deck is because it's okay in this matchup. Obviously, nothing's 100%. If you make mistakes like I did in game 2, you're less than that even, but
If you shall remove, hurry. Do you want me to phase you out of time? Keep up the pace.
Hey, steal their Planeswalker at least. Got that going for us. If Teferi's not in play, there's a chance that their draws are bad. Alright. Alright, time to play some Pokemon. Good shit. I've hit my limit. It's almost 1 o'clock. To wrap on this deck, I like where it ended up at. I'm still going to throw it up on the website. Just a good reminder that even when you're okay in that matchup, it still feels bad to play against because Jeskai's just a deck that feels bad to play against. I guess I'm not sure that I want these Chandras on the board. I'll think on these last couple of slots, the way things line up, they're just kind of expensive, and getting to them in time in that matchup feels bad. Maybe I need some kind of, maybe Rip Apart or something supposed to come in there. I'm supposed to bring in, like, the Archons for the Gear Hulks, but the Gear Hulk variations definitely feel harder than the non-Gear Hulk variations, and having more counterplay there would be nice, but I also don't know that I just like have good options for that. Like all of these cards dying to Helix really sucks. All right, I'm gonna run to the